The word ego often gets a bad reputation. People think it means arrogance or selfishness, but that's not always true. A healthy ego is different. It's not about thinking you're better than others. It's about knowing who you are and being secure in it. Sigma males are often misunderstood. They're quiet, private, and they move through the world without trying to prove anything. But if you look closely, you'll see they have something powerful inside them, a strong, stable, and healthy ego. Their ego doesn't shout. It doesn't brag. It doesn't need approval from others. It's steady. It's based on deep self-knowledge and lived experience. This kind of ego isn't loud, it's calm. It doesn't look for attention, but it's always there, holding the Sigma male steady in everything he does. That's what makes Sigma males stand out. While others might chase attention, praise, or validation, Sigma males stay focused on what really matters to them. Their strength doesn't come from outside, it comes from within. That's the sign of a healthy ego. This video will explore the reasons behind this unique kind of confidence. We're not talking about false pride or showing off. We're talking about real, grounded self-belief. The kind that helps Sigma males move through life with quiet strength and clear purpose. Understanding how Sigma males build this kind of ego can help you see the difference between loud confidence and true inner power. It might even help you reflect on your own mindset. Let's start with reason number 1. Sigma males have a strong sense of self. Reason number 1. They possess a strong sense of self. Sigma males know who they are. They don't try to fit in. They don't change their opinions to match others. They don't act differently just to be accepted. This strong sense of self is the foundation of their healthy ego. From a young age, Sigma males usually feel different. While others are drawn to groups or popularity, Sigma males are drawn inward. They ask big questions. They want to understand themselves first before trying to understand the world. That's where their self-awareness begins. They spend a lot of time thinking, not just about what they want, but about what they believe in. They're not easily influenced by trends, social pressure, or outside noise. They have their own code, their own values, their own view of life, and the more they stay true to this view, the stronger their ego becomes. It's not about being stubborn, it's about being honest with themselves. They know what matters to them, and they won't trade that for anything, not even approval or attention. This deep self-knowledge helps them make better decisions. They don't act on impulse or follow the crowd. They pause, they reflect. And when they do take action, it comes from a place of confidence, not from fear or insecurity. It also makes them resilient. When someone criticizes them or tries to bring them down, it doesn't shake them. That's because their sense of worth isn't built on outside approval. It's built on who they know themselves to be. That's real ego strength. They also don't waste time trying to impress. You won't see a Sigma male chasing compliments. He doesn't need people to cheer him on to know he's on the right path. He knows it already. And if he's wrong, he's willing to learn. Not because he's weak, but because he's strong enough to change. This is the kind of ego that doesn't need to win every argument. It doesn't fear being alone. It doesn't need a stage. It just needs space to grow and stay grounded. A strong sense of self is rare in a world full of noise and pressure. But Sigma males develop it by tuning out the world and tuning into themselves. That's what gives them the ego that others notice, but can never quite match. Reason number 2. They are independent thinkers. Sigma males don't just live alone. They think alone. They don't follow the crowd. They don't believe something just because everyone else does. They ask questions. They do their own research. They form their own ideas. This makes them true independent thinkers. Being able to think for yourself is a big part of having a healthy ego. When a person depends on others to tell them what to believe, their ego becomes fragile. They're always looking for guidance or approval. But Sigma males don't need that. They trust their mind. This kind of thinking starts early. Sigma males often question rules, systems, and traditions. They don't break them just to rebel. They break them when they don't make sense. They're not trying to be difficult. They're trying to be real. Because they think independently, Sigma males don't fall into groupthink. They don't jump on every trend. They don't change their views every time a new idea becomes popular. They listen, yes, but they don't follow blindly. This builds a different kind of confidence. The kind that comes from knowing your thoughts are truly your own. That's what keeps the Sigma male grounded. Even when others doubt or disagree, he stays steady. He knows what he believes and why he believes it. This trait also makes Sigma males powerful in conversations. They don't argue just to be right. They speak with clarity. Their opinions are well formed because they've thought them through. They don't just repeat what others say. They bring fresh views, and people notice. Being an independent thinker also protects the Sigma male from manipulation. He's not easy to sway. You can't control him with peer pressure or fake praise. He sees through shallow tricks. That keeps his ego safe from outside damage. And when he's wrong, he admits it. Because his ego isn't tied to being perfect. It's tied to being true. He can change his mind if the facts demand it. That's not weakness. That's strength. It shows he's thinking for himself, not trying to win. Independent thinking is rare. It's not taught in schools. It's not rewarded in crowds. But Sigma males build it by asking hard questions and refusing easy answers. That's how they keep their ego sharp, steady, and truly healthy. Reason number 3, they embrace solitude. Most people fear being alone. They think silence means something is wrong. They rush to fill the space with noise, people, or distractions. But Sigma males are different. They embrace solitude, not just to be alone, but to grow, and that choice helps shape their ego in a powerful way. Solitude gives Sigma males room to think. Without distractions, they can hear their own thoughts clearly. They can reflect on what they've done, what they believe, and what they want to change. This process builds deep self-understanding, and with it, real confidence. While others might see being alone as a weakness, Sigma males see it as strength. They don't need company to feel valid. They don't need crowds to feel seen. They're comfortable with their own presence. That comfort shows they've built an ego that isn't based on attention. Solitude also teaches them patience. It takes time to be still, to sit with thoughts, to wait without distraction. In that silence, Sigma males learn how to control their emotions and guide their energy. That kind of discipline is rare, and it adds to their quiet power. Another reason solitude builds a healthy ego is because it forces honesty. When you're alone, there's no one to impress, no one to blame, no one to hide behind. Sigma males look in the mirror and face what's real. The good, the bad, and the in-between. That kind of self-check keeps the ego in balance. It also keeps them from seeking approval. When you're always around others, you start picking up their energy, their opinions, their judgments. But Sigma males don't have that problem. Their time alone keeps them clear. They know what they think and feel, not because someone told them, but because they figured it out themselves. This is why Sigma males don't fear being alone. They use it, they grow in it, and they come back stronger because of it. Their ego doesn't depend on noise. It's built in silence, and that makes it solid. So while others run from solitude, Sigma males walk straight into it. Not to hide, but to build something inside that no one else can touch. A calm, confident, and healthy ego. Reason number 4, they are self-reliant. Sigma males don't wait for others to save them. They take care of their own needs. They solve their own problems. They face life head-on, even when it's tough. This deep level of self-reliance is one of the biggest reasons their ego stays strong and steady. From the outside, this might look like pride, but it's more than that. Self-reliance isn't about ego for ego's sake, it's about survival. Sigma males have often learned through experience that depending too much on others can lead to disappointment. So they've built a mindset that says, if I want something done right, I'll do it myself. This belief shows up in how they work. Sigma males don't wait to be told what to do. They take initiative. They set goals. They learn what they need to know. If they fail, they don't make excuses. They learn, adjust, and try again. That process builds confidence, the kind that comes from doing, not just thinking. Being self-reliant also protects them from emotional ups and downs. They don't tie their happiness to someone else's actions. If people let them down, they move forward. If plans fall apart, they create new ones. Their strength doesn't depend on outside support. It comes from within. That kind of mindset builds a strong ego, not a loud one, but a solid one. It's the kind of ego that doesn't crack under pressure. It stays in place because it's not built on praise or comfort. It's built on experience, effort, and results. This trait also helps Sigma males stay humble. They don't act like they know everything, but they trust themselves to figure things out. That quiet trust becomes the core of their strengths. They're not afraid to ask questions, make mistakes, or try new things because they believe in their ability to adapt. Self-reliance doesn't mean they don't value others. It means they don't depend on others for their identity or direction. They can work with people, but they don't need people to function. That freedom makes their ego harder to shake. So while others wait for approval or support, Sigma males move forward on their own. That independence doesn't make them cold. It makes them powerful. Because in the end, no one believes in them more than they do. Reason number 5. They value authenticity over approval. Most people want to fit in. They want others to like them. So they change how they act, speak, or dress depending on who they're around. But Sigma males don't play that game. They care more about being real than being liked. That's a key reason their ego stays healthy. Authenticity means living in line with your true self. For Sigma males, this isn't a goal, it's a rule. They don't pretend to be something they're not. They don't say things just to sound smart. They don't follow trends to seem cool. They show up as themselves, no matter who's watching. This mindset comes from confidence. When you're secure in who you are, you don't need outside approval. You don't need to be the most popular. You don't need constant praise. Sigma males understand this. That's why their ego doesn't swing up and down with every opinion. Living authentically also helps them avoid inner conflict. When someone is always trying to please others, they often feel lost. They forget what they want. They feel fake. But Sigma males don't have that problem. They listen to their own voice first. That keeps them clear and focused. People respect this. Even if they don't always agree with a Sigma male, they can sense that he's being real. And that kind of energy is powerful. It draws attention without asking for it. It builds trust without begging for it. This trait also protects them from peer pressure. When everyone else is doing one thing, the Sigma male can step back and say, "That's not for me." He doesn't feel the need to explain or argue. He just lives his truth and keeps moving. That's the sign of a mature ego, one that doesn't bend just to be accepted, one that doesn't fall apart when rejected. It's rooted in truth, not attention. And when a Sigma male meets someone who sees that truth and accepts it, those are the people he keeps close. Not because he needs approval, but because he respects realness. In the end, valuing authenticity over approval helps Sigma males stay balanced, strong, and true. It's not about standing out, it's about standing firm in who they are. Reason number 6, they learn from failure. Failure breaks a lot of people. It crushes their ego, makes them feel small, and can stop them from trying again. But Sigma males are different. When they fail, they don't fall apart. They don't blame others. They take the hit, learn from it, and come back stronger. This ability to handle failure is a key reason why their ego stays healthy. Instead of running from their mistakes, they face them. They ask what went wrong. They study the problem. They figure out what they can do better next time. This kind of thinking turns failure into fuel. Sigma males don't fear being wrong. They understand that life isn't about getting everything right the first time. It's about progress. They use failure as feedback. If something didn't work, they change their approach. They don't take it as a personal attack. They see it as part of the process. This mindset protects their ego from damage. Because their self-worth isn't tied to being perfect. It's tied to effort, growth, and truth. They're not afraid to admit when they've failed. They're not ashamed of setbacks. They treat those moments as stepping stones. And because they're so private, they often fail in silence. They don't broadcast their losses. They just learn quietly, adjust their plan, and try again. When they finally succeed, it looks effortless. But behind that success is a series of hard lessons they never stopped learning from. This also makes them more resilient. Life doesn't always go smoothly. Plans fall apart. People let you down. Results don't show up. But Sigma males keep moving forward. They might pause to think, but they never give up. That quiet persistence builds an ego that doesn't crack under pressure. Another reason failure doesn't shake them is because they don't rely on outside validation. When others fail, they often fear judgment. But Sigma males don't care about that. They don't measure their worth by who's watching. They measure it by how far they've come. Learning from failure keeps their ego grounded. It teaches humility. It reminds them that there's always more to learn. And it builds real confidence, the kind that doesn't fade when things go wrong. That's why Sigma males walk through failure without losing themselves. They don't just survive it, they grow from it. Sigma males carry themselves with quiet confidence. They don't need to be the loudest in the room. They don't chase attention or try to prove their worth. But if you pay attention, you'll see something powerful in them, a rare, healthy ego. Throughout this video, we've looked at the reasons behind that strength. It's not built on pride. It's built on self-awareness, independence, solitude, hard lessons, and staying true to their values. These traits don't just shape how Sigma males act, they shape how they see themselves. What makes their ego so different is that it doesn't rely on outside noise. It doesn't rise with praise or fall with criticism. It stays steady because it's built on something solid, truth. Sigma males know who they are, what they believe in, and where they're going. That kind of ego is hard to shake. It doesn't need to dominate others to feel strong. It doesn't break under pressure. It doesn't change just to be accepted. It just is quiet, focused, and clear. This balance is what makes Sigma males so unique. They can walk away from drama. They can stand alone without fear. They can admit when they're wrong and still feel strong. And that's real power. If more people learn to build an ego like this, one based on reflection, honesty, and growth, the world would be a stronger, calmer place. So, whether you're a Sigma male or just someone who wants to better understand yourself, take a page from their book. You don't need to shout to be strong. You just need to know who you are and be steady in it.